Hi, my name is Kathy Knoll, and we're one week away from the Good Life Fitness Victoria Marathon.
Guess that didn't work that time. No. We can do it one more time. Take 3.
My name is Kathy Knoll. I'm the general manager and have been for 11 years. And Rob Reed
is the race director, and I'll be shaking hands at the finish line. Looking forward to having everyone out, plus the 11,000 that are taking part. We're with Game On with Jeff and Paul.
I'm going to beat you, Rob.
Oh, I'm going to catch Jeff. Where is he?
Yeah, he's back there.
Come on, Jeff.
Game on.
It's Game On.
And they're off. Almost. We're now 1 week away from the Good Life Fitness Victoria Marathon. We introduce you to 2 marathoners who are changing their lives with every stride. Yeah, we have all 42.2K covered tonight. On your mark, get set, game on.
Game On is brought to you by Jenner Chevrolet Buick GMC. Here for you and in your community on the Old Island Highway.
Hello and welcome to Game On. If you're watching, you figured out that we have moved the big program to Sunday nights at 6:30 and 10:30. This is Paul. I am Jeff, and we have a dandy show for you tonight.
That is right. We're just 1 week away from the Good Life Fitness Victoria Marathon. So tonight we built our entire show around the big race. We'll introduce you to the oldest participant, look back at marathons from years past, and marathon committee members Rob Reed and Kathy Knoll join us in the sports cage. But first, we start with a story that will inspire you, Jeff.
Yeah, it sure will, Paul. Now, thousands of island runners have been training for months for the Good Life Fitness Victoria Marathon, and everyone has a story, from crossing the marathon or half marathon off their bucket list to running for charity and everything in between. But for one Victoria woman, running has turned her life around thanks to a group called Running Moms.
Well, I have it on my blog post.
It's just another morning at Front Runners, but a big morning for a group called Running Moms. This group of new moms gets together up to 3 times a week under direction of coach Sarah Joy Erickson. Some moms join the group to drop some baby weight or to get back into shape, while others are training to run the Good Life Fitness Half Marathon October 9th.
And I was like, yeah, you're dying. But now it's like...
And the half marathon is the goal for mother of 3, Crystal Noakes. But for Crystal, Running Moms is more than a running group. It's part of the reason she has turned her life around.
I meet this woman who was only a few months, not even a year, clean from using crack, and she had 2 young children, one who was taken from her when the baby was born because of her drug use.
Kind of like a lot of people in this city, I was an addict, and I hit rock bottom. And it's taken me about 2 years to work my way back up to where I am now. Right. I have both my kids. My son lives with his dad, but I've gone through parenting classes, and now with doing this Running Moms and the people at Front Runners and the staff, I've gotten myself to a happy place. Running is like my best friend now.
Yeah. Lost your kids for a while. I mean, it was not a pretty path for you.
I did. I lost them this one for 4 months, the other one since birth. It was pretty bad. It was really hard to get back up from the ground, but anybody can do it.
Crystal's inspiration is simple.
My kids did, and I fell out of love with myself, and now I love who I am, what I do. I love waking up. I love seeing the girls. Life's good now. Yeah. Being the clean lifestyle is the best way to go.
And Crystal has become a staple with the Running Moms group. In fact, for many of the other moms, she's their inspiration.
Crystal is she's my epiphany. I gotta go get her, I gotta catch up to her, I gotta keep up with her. Everything she's been through running has been her thing, has been her it. It's gotten her through a lot of tough times, and you know, it's one of those things that running can do for anyone if they want it to.
In fact, Crystal has not only become a close friend to the moms in the group, her story helps other moms put small things in life into perspective.
I just kind of shook my head and thought, what have I been complaining about? You know, I've got it made in the shade, and I meet this woman who had, to me, that seemed like insurmountable odds. She's trying to get her child back from the ministry and has 1 child at home, and I just thought, I don't know if I'd be getting out of bed in the morning, and here she is just raring to go.
For Crystal and many of the Running Moms, the group is much more than just running.
It's the camaraderie, it's the friendships that I've made, and I can tell they all know my story. I can tell them if I'm having a bad day, they're having bad days, and we all help each other out.
I'm more thankful to her than to anybody, because without her, without that enthusiasm, I don't think that I would have my enthusiasm. So, yeah.
Yeah, good going to Crystal.
Very cool.
And Running Moms. Looking forward to seeing all you fine ladies out on the route next Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. More of the marathon coming up, but let's check out what's been going on in the sports world over the weekend with Big Mike Walker.
Big?
Big? It's a lot to live up to, but I tell you what, it has been a fantastic couple of days to be an Island sports fan, and we'll start with a former Vancouver Island Raiders star who opened BC Place with a bang on Friday night. Yes, Vancouver's Big Dome showing off the big screen and a big facelift against the Edmonton Eskimos, with the Leos looking for first place in the West. And how about Andrew Harris? The Nanaimo standout scores the first touchdown in the new BC Place to give the Leos a 9-point lead. And I'll tell you what, he isn't done there. In the third, the former BCFC All-Star rumbles 65 yards to the house, and that'll get the 50,000 faithful into it. Harris with a coming-out party on the big stage helps the Leos win their 6th straight, and head coach Wally Buono likes what he sees.
Well, you know, Andrew Harris is just a good young player. You know, you got to give him the kudos, because, he came to us as a junior from Nanaimo. He's been nothing but a guy that's taken the opportunity that he's gotten and made the most of it. We preach life gives us so many opportunities, and you know what? He's deserved it, he's earned it, and today he was like a superstar.
Meanwhile, Harris's former team, the Vancouver Island Raiders, continued to cruise this weekend. The VI boys posting 56 points against the Langley Rams, pushing their record to 9-0 on the season with just 1 week remaining in the BCFC schedule. Worth noting, the Raiders have outscored their competition 516-80 so far in 2010, and that is all kinds of ridiculous. Finally, the Victoria Royals have had a big weekend too. The Western League squad have won 3 straight after downing the Prince George Cougars in back-to-back contests. Victoria took a shootout victory on Friday night before using a hat trick off the stick of Jamie Crooks to defeat the Cougars 6-5 Saturday. The boys now sit at 3-1 on the year and first in the BC division, with a game tonight against the Kamloops Blazers still to be decided. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Mike. And the Royals return home this Thursday night for a doubleheader, actually Thursday-Friday, against the Medicine Hat Tigers. And I'll tell you, it looks like the VI Raiders are gearing up for another shot at a BCFC and national title.
They do every year.
Strong
All
again,
right, it's time to take a short break here on Game On. But when we return, a look at the oldest participant in this year's half marathon. But as we go to break, a look back at a few marathon highlights from years past.
It's fantastic. This is Victoria for you. It's a sunny day and everyone's out cheering. It's a lot of fun.
It's great. We did this race last year. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to have a hometown race.
Welcome back to Game On, and we are just 1 week away from the Good Life Fitness Victoria Marathon. And Paul, you have a story that proves that this event is for runners of all ages.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff. And it doesn't matter if you run, walk, or just incoherently crawl over the finish line. Completing a marathon or half marathon is a huge accomplishment. Well, this year, the oldest participant in the race is 89-year-old Hans Sonberg, who's proving that age is really just a number. Hans Sandberg won't be the fastest participant in this year's half marathon, but he also won't be the slowest, which is pretty impressive because at 89 years old, he's definitely the oldest runner in the event.
I run 3 times a week. My run is usually 5K, along Dallas Road. It's a lot of fun. Now these are the medals of the 10Ks.
The former gymnast took up running later in life and has now been doing it for 20 years. And while most people his age have hung up the running shoes by now, Hans has no plans of slowing down.
It keeps me happy and keeps stress away from you, no tension. You feel free and you enjoy life better.
It's hard not to be inspired when you see Hans pounding the pavement, but he hasn't always been the picture of health. A former smoker and drinker, Sandberg's own 12-step program was literally a matter of putting one foot in front of the other.
I gave up smoking a long time ago, and I used to have a few drinks, but all that I gave up. You are never too old, always start. Never too old to start, that's all.
So if you see Hans running the 21.1K on Sunday, maybe give him a little extra cheer, because his goal isn't to break any records or set a personal best. It's simply to do what he loves to do because he can.
My goal is just keep going, that's all. You know, just keep going. Every time I enjoy it. I hope I can do it some more years.
This portion of Game On brought to you by Sopranos Bar and Grill, where fans gather before and after the game.
Go get him, Hans.
That's right. I hope he beats you.
He will. It is time for this week's edition of our Quick Shift, a rapid-fire question and answer segment with local sports figures.
Yeah, and tonight we dig into the archives, take a look back at our chat with Good Life Fitness Marathon race director and owner of Front Runners, Rob Reed.
Here with Victoria's Minister of Unusual Affairs, Rob Reed. And Rob, first of all, best place to run in Victoria?
Best Mount Doug Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing about running in Victoria?
Oh, just all the other runners out there.
Yeah.
Lots of scenery.
In a movie about your life, who plays Rob Reed?
Oh, that guy from Napoleon Dynamite.
Skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Great salad too. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Chariots of Fire.
2 tickets to a sporting event anywhere in the world. Where are you going?
Oh, World Cup.
Really? First pet?
First pet, a Yorkshire Terrier that was a good punt kick.
First car?
First car, a Nova, 1972 Nova.
If you were not running and owning footwear and running store, what would you be?
Politics? No, what would I be? I'd work for a nonprofit that's close to my heart.
Favorite thing about living in Victoria?
Oh, the scenery, the people. Oh, the scenery.
Yeah? All right. This Quick Shift brought to you by
Rob Reed at Front Runners.
Love that. And Napoleon Dynamite's doppelganger, Robert Reed, will be at the finish line at the marathon, shaking hands like he does each and every year.
That is right. All right, let's take a break from the marathon and hand things over to Macaulay Culkin's doppelganger, Mike Walker, with our Plays of the Week.
Hey now, I only had the mushroom cut to my first year of college, all right? Time now to look back at our favorite highlights and, of course, the lowlights from the past 7 days and everyone's favorite part of the show, the Plays of the Week.
Plays of the Week is brought to you by Spank It Sports, BC's largest selection of soccer, rugby, and football stuff.
We'll start with Scott Fee's morning commute, cranking the couch up to 160 kilometers an hour, and no helmet hair for the 5 o'clock news either. How about a couple of pretty goals with awkward celebrations? Cow Valley Caps' Matt Brown goes upstairs with a backhand and then gets a chest bump. All right, how about Saanich Braves' Connor Krupa finishing the backdoor feed and then goes for the nicely executed sow cow? That's impressive stuff. For the Diamond, what a finish in the wildcard race. Evan Longoria's walk-off homer puts the Rays in the postseason and leaves the Red Sox standing in the dust. Now, Team Canada on the pitch at the Rugby World Cup. Check out the run from Captain Phil McKenzie, scoring a big try to help Canada tie Japan. A Catch of the Year candidate from the BCFC here, Andrew Smith, goes all out in the end zone and makes a fabulous diving grab. What a play to help the Raiders to 9-0. And speaking of Plays of the Year candidates, Julio Baptista from the Spanish Soccer League takes the header and goes up and over for the spectacular tally. To the ice in Canucks preseason down in San Jose, Thomas Greiss robs Nicholas Jensen at the side of the net. Season starts next Monday night. The Victoria Royals, though, they're already flying. Watch Stephen Hodges with the shorthanded break. He tucks it in past the Prince George keeper for the beauty, but not to be outdone. Jamie Crooks makes the nice little move to the front of the net and goes 5-hole for 1 of 3 on the night. Finally, what a huge evening for former VI Raider Andrew Harris. A pair of touchdowns and the Lions returned to BC Place, and that place was absolutely rocking for our Nanaimo boy.
Do you think Vancouver Island's excited right now?
Thank you, Mike. All right, it is time for a short break here on Game On, but stick around for more marathon talk coming up next on the Sports Cage.
That is right, but first, here's a look at some Island standings.
standings are brought to you by Robbins Parking, proudly supporting local community and events. Game On's Sports Cage is brought to you by Country Grocer. You'll feel like family.
Welcome back to Game On here in the Sports Cage, and Paul and I happy to welcome a couple special guests, Kathy Knoll, who is the general manager with the Good Life Fitness Victoria Marathon, and my good buddy, Rob Reed, who is and coach, lifelong friend, who has been, you're what, race director?
I guess that's, somebody has to wear
for
that.
like 23 years or something?
Not quite, about 14.
Is that what it is? And
Yeah.
Kathy, you've been around with
I've been around for 11 years.
Yeah, well, tell us about this year's marathon so far. We're 1 week away. How are things going? How are things shaping up?
They're going very, very well. We have all of our volunteers in place, ready to welcome the all 11,000 plus runners.
Right.
People in the marathon, half marathon, 8K, and for the kids run. So we are ready.
And Rob, you're going to be there at the finish line shaking hands?
Shaking hands, yep, for the finishers. And it's great just seeing them all come across because everybody's got a different story.
Yeah.
And especially with all the charities we've been supporting for the event. It's really exciting. It's very emotional for a lot of them. So it's, and all the volunteers will be there to give them their medals as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because without the volunteers, this thing doesn't tick. And our city's so great for that. And you know, you wonder what's in it for a volunteer, but they also have a great story at the end of each and every marathon as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have the memories every year, and we get the phone calls and the emails saying, okay, sign me up, and I want my specific
that same spot.
And I want to be at the finish line, and there are those plum spots. So when those emails come in and the coordinators and our organizing committee are slotting people in, they pick and choose who they want, and they come back year after year. We had a stuffing party with for all of the race packages, and lots of familiar faces, and those that are going to be in the race. So they want to give back and be a part of the organization leading up to.
Right on. Rob, what are numbers looking like this year? Because I know it's down a little bit from last year, but it's because of some out-of-towners aren't coming in. What's the talk?
I mean, a lot of things are down around the world economy, and so we're getting less travelers. But I'm surprised. You know, we're going to be about 11.5, and that's pretty healthy. We're about 13.5 last year.
Right.
But you know, 10,000 people make up a city, basically. So we've got a city coming to downtown Victoria. So the economic impact is huge for our city at this time of the year.
It really is the whole community that gets together to pull this event off.
And I know 23 years ago when I got in the committee, it was like people didn't know it was happening on the weekend, and I remember
that's back when you guys were eating Snickers or Eat More bars, you said.
Exactly, that was our food of choice. Yeah, and Golden Beehive corn syrup is our gel. But I remember when we broke 1,000, that was a big deal. So 11,000 now, it's still fantastic.
Let's talk about the charities, because a lot of great charities get some great cash out of this event as well.
Yeah, and Kathy's been handling all the charity work.
So we have an official charity program, so working with Kids Sport, Raise a Reader, Kylie Patchwell Evans Autism Research Group, and the Kids Foundation, Good Life Kids Foundation. But we also have 22 charities that are out there recruiting runners and walkers and pledge collectors, and they raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we've got those charities that will be along the course in the last 2 or 3 kilometers, when everyone, or some of them, not the elites, but the other ones are going, okay, are we there yet? Are we at the finish line?
That'll be me. That'll be me.
And the charities are going to be there saying, you look good.
Yeah, really.
You're only 2
with your skinny little legs.
It's just around the corner.
Stay alive. I mean, I've watched a couple marathon finishes, just family members, and it's hard not to get emotional, not even just watching your own family members, just other people celebrate finishing the marathon. It's such a huge deal for them. And I mean, how do you train someone for that? Almost the emotional, because that's going to start playing into the training when you get down to the final. Does that almost spur you on the last 2K, or how does that help? Because I've never run one.
Well, that's part of the mental process, especially in the last week, as we know with a lot of the athletes in town that are training, or hopefully have been training.
You got to say that. You got to do this every time you say athlete. For sure.
But it's that last week, and you've been sort of on this roller coaster of training and building up the base and the miles and watching your diet, trying to get enough rest.
Yeah.
And now in the last week to 10 days, you've got to sort of taper all that, and it's hard to stop cold turkey in a sense of putting in the miles in that routine. So part of it is it's like running the last few miles of the marathon. You're getting closer and closer, and it's such an emotional goal for a lot of people that have put a lot of time into it, and their families have had to put up with them to a degree. So
that's the truth.
Yeah. And next year you'll have a little one you'll be running for.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. 3 months away. And that's my inspiration, you know. And I'm sure everyone has their own reasons for running and their inspiration. And the story that we showed earlier, you know, in the show through Running Moms, you know, I mean, putting that story together, and it was emotional for me to be putting that story together. And maybe just over the years, both of you share an experience of you know, something very inspirational that you've watched.
Well, for me, it's getting to know people like Dick Beardsley, who you know, was an elite marathoner, one of the top in North America, you know, that was into farming, that had an accident, that got addicted to painkillers, and he couldn't get off painkillers, and he ended up writing his own prescriptions, which is against the law. And he had to go through major rehab for years and years. And getting really close and getting to know Dick, it's been great sharing his story, because, you know, that's a major hurdle. And I have enough problems just getting up and training for a marathon, but for somebody to make, you know, a comeback and change their lifestyle, it's just enormous. So that finish line is really special.
It's emotional.
One, I mean, I always go out and try and find the last, or I always do find that person, so I can radio back and say,
the last
okay,
one coming across.
That's right. Okay, they're 1 kilometer, they're 2 kilometers away. We can keep the finish line open. And this one time I found 2 people, and they were chatting away, and I figured that they were best buddies. Well, they had met probably 10 kilometers back, and they had told each other their life story. They were going to end up going for lunch and coffee and
They got
everything.
married, you know, at the finish line.
I'm not sure about that, but one was certainly could have gone faster, but had made the connection with this person that they'd met 10 kilometers back,
Very cool.
and they stuck together.
We won't need the radio this year. We'll just give Jeff a cell phone.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
He can call you directly.
Kathy, I am 4K out. We're going to have coverage. It's here we are on Sunday night. All through the next week leading up to the marathon, and we'll have a special Game On presentation on October 9th as well. Kathy, Rob, thanks for coming in. Thanks for all the work you guys do.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. I'm going to need it.
We have to give them a special mantra.
Yeah, we got to get a pep talk.
Yeah, mantra. Hey, chicken legs, hurry up. That'll be it. That is it. Another edition of Game On here on Check 6, of course. For your local sports fix each and every Sunday night, 6:30 and 10:30, it's Game On.